Age, periods of immigration. Amongst the technology improvements, monopolies, and urbanization, the Gilded Age was a time when about 10 million immigrants came to the United States. Some were farmers looking for fresh lands, others were looking to pursue what was known as the American dream. In this day and age, each person most likely has their own perspective and opinion on what their American dream is, but back then it could be said as the opportunity to pursue their goals and become wealthy through their own hard work here in America. Many immigrants left their homelands because they felt that a better life was waiting for them in America. Some had lost their homes to disasters such as floods and earthquakes, others because there was not enough food. The lack of food caused almost 2 million deaths. Families felt they had to move to a place that provided a better life and future for their children. The hardships in their country and hearing stories about America, such as the streets being paved with gold, and promise of jobs added to the American dream. The dream attracted them even more to the United States as they left their country, which is immigration, and came into the United States, which is immigration. Immigration to the United States leads back to a time of old immigration, when the 13 colonies were first being established. Most of these immigrants were Dutch, English, and French. The first settlement in America was in a town called Jamestown in 1607. The colonists had many problems during the first winter and hardly managed to get by. By the year of 1920, new immigration came around, and most of the immigrants were from Italy, as well as some Jewish and Slavic. This changed the ethnic makeup of the United States. During this new immigration period, the ships that people traveled on were originally built for carrying cargo. They traveled in steerage for the cheapest rate. In steerage, the bunks were made of rough boards, and they were intended to hold 3 to 6 people per bunk. Since the American dream meant a better life, an opportunity for immigrants, steerage on the way to the American dream could be considered contradictory. When they arrived to America, they came in at Ellis Island. Most of the immigrants stayed in New York City since cultural, religious, and educational institutions were already set up. They also stayed in cities for job purposes, since they did not have the money for farms and farming equipment. Ellis Island was known as the front door to freedom. People had to go through physical inspections for diseases, and if they were suspected, they were sent right back to their home country. About 5,000 immigrants were inspected each day. Changes were often made to immigrants' names at Ellis Island due to the clerk asking the names, not understanding of the pronunciation, spelling, and other translation problems. Reaction against immigration. As immigration from Europe increased in the early 1800s, citizens who had been born in the United States started to feel resentment towards the immigrants. Those opposed to immigrants became known as nativists. The movement to stop the flood of Catholic immigrants is known as nativism. The Chinese Exclusion Act marked the first time that the United States Congress passed a law to block immigration by a specific ethnic or racial group. This law prohibited all Chinese laborers from entering the United States for a period of 10 years. It also banned Chinese immigrants who were already in the United States from becoming U.S. citizens. It was aimed primarily at the unskilled laborers. The justification given was that it helped to maintain law and order. The Gentleman's Agreement was between the United States and Japan in 1907. It was said that Japan should stop the immigration of its laborers to the United States, and that the United States should stop discrimination against Japanese living in the United States. Passed in 1924, the National Origin Acts placed a limit on immigration. Americans were becoming outraged at the amount of jobs they were losing to immigrants. This act discriminated against immigrants from Southern and Eastern Europe and excluded Asians. This stayed in effect till about the 1960s. Theories of immigration. The melting pot is an analogy for the way in which homogeneous societies develop and where the ingredients in the pot, which represents people of different cultures, races, and religions, are combined to develop a multi-ethnic society. When an individual adopts aspects of culture such as religion, manners, and languages, voluntarily or forced, this is known as cultural assimilation. Salad bowl is another theory of immigration used as a description of society. The variety of different groups symbolize the ingredients that still have their own flavor and texture while contributing to the salad. This is more applicable to America today.